The Alpha King's hated princess. Welcome to the Story King, where every tale leaves you breathless. The chains of vengeance. The silver chains burned against her skin, but Princess Elara refused to flinch. She would not give him the satisfaction. Across the obsidian throne room, Alpha King Kael Blackthorn watched her with eyes like molten gold, predatory, calculating, hungry for her fear. The man who had slaughtered her father. The man who had raised her kingdom to ash. The man who now owned her. Look at me, his voice commanded, rough as gravel, absolute as death itself. Elara kept her violet eyes fixed on the blood-red tapestries behind him, though every fiber of her being screamed to obey. The Alpha command rolled through the room like thunder, pressing against her will, suffocating. But she was no ordinary wolf. She was the last of the Silvermoon bloodline, and she would die before she bowed. A dark chuckle echoed through the chamber. Still defiant. Your father had the same stupid pride. Kael rose from his throne, each footstep deliberate, menacing. It got him killed. My father was twice the leader you'll ever be, Elara spat, finally meeting his gaze. Mistake. The moment their eyes locked, something electric crackled between them, something ancient and terrifying that made her wolf whimper in confusion. Kael stopped mere inches away, so close she could smell pine and smoke on his skin, could see the jagged scar running from his temple to his jaw. A scar her father had given him years ago. Your father, he said softly, dangerously, was a traitor who tried to poison the entire Northern Alliance. He would have killed thousands, women, children, innocents. I stopped him, but you. His fingers caught her chin, forcing her to hold his burning stare. You're going to help me understand what he was planning. Every scheme, every ally, every secret weapon your family hoarded. I'll tell you nothing. We'll see. He released her abruptly, turning away. Take her to the tower. The one with the silver-lined walls. Let's see how long her defiance lasts when her wolf can't surface to comfort her. Horror flooded Elara's veins. Silver poisoning was a slow, agonizing torture for their kind. But as the guards dragged her away, she caught something in Kael's expression, a flicker of conflict, there and gone in an instant. She must have imagined it. 5 days later, Elara's body screamed in agony. The silver in the walls kept her wolf suppressed, leaving her vulnerable, human, weak. She hadn't eaten in days, the guards only brought water, barely enough to survive. She was dying, slowly, and Kael hadn't come. Good, she told herself. She hoped he forgot about her entirely. Hoped she could fade away without giving him a single secret, without betraying the few surviving members of her pack who had scattered to the winds. The door burst open near midnight. Kael stood in the doorway, his massive frame backlit by torchlight. His jaw was clenched, his hands fisted at his sides. He looked furious. Out, he snarled at the guards. They fled. Silence stretched between them like a blade. You're dying, he said flatly. Observant. Elara's voice came out as a rasp. She was curled in the corner, too weak to stand. This isn't, he cut himself off, jaw working. When he spoke again, his voice was harder. This isn't how this works. You're supposed to break, supposed to beg, supposed to give me what I need to secure the realm. Sorry to disappoint. Kael moved with liquid speed, crossing the room to crouch before her. This close, she could see the dark circles under his eyes, the tension in his shoulders. Why? The question came out rough, almost desperate. Why protect him? He was going to commit genocide, Elara. We found the plague vials in your palace. 13 different strains, each more lethal than the last. You're lying. But doubt crept into her voice. Her father had been secretive those last months, paranoid, raving about threats to their bloodline. I wish I was. Kael reached into his jacket and pulled out a leather folder. Inside were photographs, her father's private laboratory, vials with her family's crest, documents in his handwriting detailing infection vectors. He was going to release this at the Alliance Summit, would have killed every Alpha, every Lunar, every heir of every major pack. Except yours, Of course. The silver moons had the antidote. The papers slipped from Elara's numb fingers. No, no, he wouldn't. He called it, restoring the natural order. Said the old bloodlines had become too mixed, too weak. He wanted to cull the population and rebuild from pure stock. Kael's voice was gentle now, unbearably gentle. I'm sorry you had to learn this way. But I need to know, are there more labs? More weapons? More followers who share his vision? Tears burned Elara's eyes. Her whole life, a lie. Everything she'd believed about her father's honor, his righteousness, his war against Kael's tyranny, poison. All of it poison. I don't know, she whispered. He never told me. I was just the heir. The perfect daughter. The weapon he kept in reserve. Something shifted in Kael's expression. Without warning, he scooped her into his arms. Elara was too shocked to resist. What are you? Getting you out of here before the silver kills you. He was already moving, carrying her through corridors with purposeful strides. I'm an asshole, princess, but I'm not a murderer. Not of innocence. I'm your enemy. You're a victim. His arms tightened fractionally. There's a difference. The healing. Elara woke in silk sheets. Sunlight streamed through gauze curtains. The air smelled of lavender and safety. No silver, no pain. Her wolf stirred for the first time in days, weak but present. You're awake. She turned to find Kael sitting in a chair beside the bed, looking rumpled and exhausted. How long had he been there? Why? Elara managed. Why what? Why save me? Why not just let me die? It would solve your problem. Kael leaned forward, elbows on his knees. In the daylight, he looked younger than she'd realized, maybe only a few years older than her own 23 years. The weight of leadership had carved lines around his eyes, shadows beneath them. Because, he said slowly, you remind me of who I was. Before the crown, before the war, when I still believed people were fundamentally good. He laughed bitterly. Your father tried to kill my entire family when I was 16. Poisoned our water supply. My mother, my little sister, they died screaming. My father survived just long enough to make me alpha before the toxins stopped his heart. Elara's breath caught. I didn't know. Of course you didn't. He told you I was the aggressor, didn't he? That I wanted to conquer the Silvermoon territory, enslave your people. At her nod, Kael smiled grimly. I wanted peace. I wanted to unite the packs so we could face the human hunters together, protect our kind. But your father, he saw unity as weakness, purity as strength. I don't understand. If you hate me, hate my family, why show me mercy now? Kael's golden eyes met hers, and the intensity there stole her breath. Because you're not him, and because, he hesitated, vulnerability flashing across his features. Because when I thought you were dying in that tower, something in me broke. I've spent 10 years building walls, princess. Becoming the monster everyone fears. But you, he reached out slowly, giving her time to pull away, and brushed a strand of dark hair from her face. You make me want to remember what it means to be human. To be kind. Elara's heart thundered. This was insane. He was her enemy, her father's killer. But her father had been a monster, and Kael had been fighting monsters all along. I don't know how to help you, she admitted. I don't know where his other labs are, who his allies were. He kept me in the dark, then helped me another way. Kael's hand lingered against her cheek, thumb tracing her jaw. The touch was electric, dangerous, impossible. Help me build the peace he tried to destroy. There are members of your pack scattered across the territories, terrified, leaderless. They need someone they can trust. Someone with Silvermoon blood who can bridge the divide. They'll never accept me. I'm your prisoner. No. Kael withdrew his hand, but his eyes never left hers. You're my guest, my ally, if you choose. And if you don't, if you want to leave, start over somewhere far from all this blood and pain, I'll give you safe passage and enough gold to last a lifetime. Why would you do that? Because I'm trying to be better than your father. Better than the monster people think I am. He stood, moving toward the door. You have until tomorrow to decide. Whatever you choose, Elara, I'll respect it. He was almost gone when she called out, Kael. He turned, waiting. My father had a study. In the old palace, behind a false wall in his bedchamber. There might be something there, journals, correspondence, I don't know. I can show you where. Something like hope kindled in his expression. Thank you. Don't thank me yet. I'm not doing this for you. She pulled the covers higher, armor against vulnerability. I'm doing it for all the people he would have killed. For the innocents. Good enough. Kael smiled then, a real smile, warm and devastating. Get some rest, princess. Tomorrow, we start building something better. 3 months later, Elara stood on the balcony of Blackthorn Castle, watching the sun set over lands that were slowly healing. In the distance, she could see the new settlement, former Silvermoon refugees living alongside Blackthorn wolves, farming together, building together. Building peace. Warm arms circled her waist from behind. Kael's chin rested on her shoulder, his presence solid and sure and impossibly right. Still having second thoughts, he murmured against her ear. Every day. But Elara leaned back into his embrace. You're still insufferable, arrogant, overbearing, and you're still stubborn, reckless, too brave for your own good. His lips brushed her temple. We're perfect for each other. She turned in his arms, meeting those golden eyes that had once terrified her. Now they felt like home. My father would be furious. Good. Kael's smile was fierce and tender all at once. Let him rage from whatever hell he's burning in. We're writing a different story now, princess. One where love wins over hate. Where mercy triumphs over vengeance. Elara pulled him down for a kiss, pouring everything into it, forgiveness, hope, the tentative joy of new beginnings. When they finally broke apart, both breathing hard, she whispered. I'm not a princess anymore. That died with the old kingdom. Fine. Kael's grin turned wicked. Then what should I call you? My queen, my Luna, my insufferable pain in the... She kissed him again to shut him up, and felt his laughter rumble against her lips. In the distance, wolves howled, not in mourning, but in celebration. The chains of vengeance had finally broken, and from the ashes, something beautiful had begun to grow. Thank you for reading. Subscribe to the Story King for more tales of passion, power, and redemption that will keep you on the edge of your seat.